Welcome to the Modern Indian History lecture series. In this lecture, we are going to take part 9 of chapter 4. So, in this section, we are going to basically discuss the railway development that happened during the British period. So, how it started. So, basically, the development of railway is like related to your transport and the communication. So, before to that period, like before the development of railways and all, so we had the bullock carts and the manual related communication related stuffs were there. After that, we will see that telegraph and telegram were introduced by the British only. But this the railway introduction by the British was solely for their the benefits into their trade and the transportation of the cars and all. Okay, so trade and transportation of the goods. So the main purpose of the development of the railway was for their own benefit. And when the development of the railway happened, so it was like the prices of the product the prices of the product for them will be low, like the cost price will be low for them. Okay, and ultimately the profit will increase. In the same scenario, when they used to transfer the Indian products through the railway, they used to charge higher wages for it. Okay, so that kind of discrimination was present. So all those things we will discuss. So the development of means of transportation and the communication. So in the middle of the 19th century, the means of transportation of the India was backward only. So as I've said, that it was solely through the bullock cart and all. Okay, so through the horses or the other means of transportation, so they use that thing. So they were in the backward in nature, so it wasn't technological based and all. So they were confined to bullock carts and the pack of horse. Okay, British rulers soon realized that they introduced this the manual these manual kind of stuff, like the based on animals or the horses, were not that efficient. They were not that efficient for their business. So the profit margin was not that much. So they thought like, at that time we already discussed that industrial revolution was going on in Britain. So the science and technology was increasing at the time in British. So they had the knowledge of a steam engine at the time. So they wanted to introduce that concept, that railway product into India, and they will use that product that they will use that technology, that railway means of communication for their trade and business. Okay, so they introduced first steamships, like in the rivers, the Ganges river, and also they introduced the steamships on the rivers in Bihar, or in the different regions as well, for the Calcutta also. So they developed the roadways, they developed the road connectivity, the the construction of the road was improved, and they introduced the steamships. Okay, steam based engine ships were introduced, that could be able to run on the rivers, the different rivers that were present, and through the connection of the roads and the rivers, they used to transport the products. Okay, at bulk. So the Calcutta to Delhi was connected through roads and the rivers, where in the rivers they started to use steamships. Further, the efforts were made to connect it with major cities, ports, and markets of the country. But real improvement in transport happened only after the advent of the railway. So, railways was like the introduction of the railway was like uh, they connected if you see the railway lines were constructed mainly to the cities nearest to the ports. Okay, when the cities nearest to the ports and military offices. Okay, and to the military offices. Why? What is the reason behind? So if the railways construction was near to the port, so the transportation of the goods from one region, from the port to the urban center, could be easily. So they connected the port to the urban center, not to the rural center, because they were not worried about the rural people. They used to live in urban center, so they were worried about themselves only. Okay, so they made these lines from port to the urban centers and to the military centers. So military center, the reason behind the connection of the military through the railway lines, so that they can easily mobilize, so they can easily mobilize the troop in the area where war could have situation has happened, or to control any kind of riots. Okay, so they connected these two areas. The main targets to connect through the areas through the railway was these two places. So the rapidly development of railways started in 1830s and 1840s, pressurized for speedy construction in India by the businessmen only. So when the construction of railway happened, so it was like first it was through private company. Okay, when the private company was playing there. So then British government thought no, they are not working that efficiently. They are not working so fast. They were not able to cope up, like capture the need. They were not able to fulfill the need of the British business perspective. So the British government think like now, no, will not give the private company to do those construction of railway. Now the state will itself will construct the railway lines. But later they observed that they are also unable to meet the demand. So after that, they declared that private company and state both will together will start construction of the railway lines. And at the end, they were able to develop 45,000 kilometer railway line all over the India. Okay. So, the British government also considered it as an advantageous development where it enables rapid mobilization and movement of troops during the internal and the external aggregation. So, aggression, like when these through the railway lines, they could be easily mobilize their troop if there are any kind of riots are not present in the country. Okay, so that will benefit for them as well, apart from business perspective. The earliest suggestion to build railway in India was made in Madras, 1831. Okay, but the development of railway started from 1830. So before 1830, it was like it was pulled by the horses, not by the steam engine machine. So railways they started to construct in 1830 only. But during that period, they didn't introduce with the concept of a steam engine. They introduced the railway with which were used to drawn by the horses. Yes, the carts were used to run on that track only. The track was there, but it was pulled by the horses. Okay, pulled by the animals. Later, it was like steam engine was introduced on the place of animals, and then the normal railway lines, the trains and all. Okay, so the construction of steam engine was proposed in 1834. Till that time, it was being pulled by the horses. Okay, in England. Okay, so after that, it introduced into the India, and the construction of railway started. So the proposal had strong political support from England railway promoters, constructed and operated by private companies who were guaranteed a minimum of 5% return on their capital by the government of India. So it was like whatever the like the loan that will be taken, this private company will take the loan from the government. So at the end, they will return 5% as the interest. Okay, and it was a profit for the British government, because actual market rate um, for the loan interest was 3% only. Okay, but the private companies were promising 5% return. So thus British government agreed to allow private companies to build the railway lines in India, and they allowed them. Okay, so the first railway line ran from Bombay. Remember, so it may ask in any quiz question kind of things. Okay, so the first railway ran at Bombay to Thana. That was open to traffic. Like first it ran Bombay to Thana, and it opened to as a normal public, and also it was open to in 1853. Lord Dalhousie, who became the Governor General of India in 1849, was an extensive supporter of railways development because he knew that the development of the military, the connection of the military and the trade and business will ultimately going to benefit. So he was a great supporter of the railways development. But these private companies, these private who said that will return 5% interest were proved to be expensive and slow pays to the government. Okay, slow pays. They were unable to fulfill the demands. Thus, in 1869, Government of India decided to build railway as a state enterprise. Okay, they decided to build the railway as a state enterprise. Then also, speed of the extension did not satisfy the need, and after 1880, railways were built through private enterprises as well as through a state agency. Okay, so by 1905, 45,000 kilometer railways had been built. The same thing that I have said here. Okay, that earlier it was private, then it was state, and then they were unable to meet the demand, so they agreed to both will work together, and they were able to build around 45,000 kilometer till 1900 something. Okay, to 1905. So, what were the important aspects of the Indian railway development? The three main important aspects of the Indian railway development from the British perspective is was that they, like, for the Indian perspective as well, if we see one thing, I just want to mention it. It make videos a little bit long. So it was like, see, when some historians claims that argues that British British rule in India was not that much bad that it has been claimed, because one of the best thing that was given by the British was railways line. Okay, was railway line. Okay, okay, that's true. They invested lots of money within the railway, in the railway and construction, the railways line and all. But whose money was it? Whose money was it? It was the money of Indian people only. It was the money of Indian people only. So this credit of development should not go to the British, that they have done good to the Indians. No, that money belongs to the Indian people only. The same money was being invested into the railways. Okay, so that's one perspective for this construction of railway. So the important aspects of the Indian railway to the development was nearly the amount of 350 crores of rupees were invested in them was supported by British investors, and there was negligible amount of the Indian investors into them. Okay. Second thing, that I've already discussed. British were unable to return the interest of capital invested under it. The government perspective, state perspective, but from the private perspective, they were getting benefit because they promised to return 5% interest rate, and but the market rate was 3% only. So in that scenario, they were in win-win situation. Okay. So in case of private built railways were in good side as they had guaranteed return of 5%, whereas the interest rate of capital investor was 3% only. The construction of railways was focused with the British needs. The political development, economic planning, and construction was not kept at forefront. Primary consideration was to serve the economic, political, and military interest of the British imperialism in India. So railways line were built primarily with the linkage of raw material, interior areas to the ports to the exports, from port to the urban center, from port to the military officials, from the urban center to the military center. So it was that kind of chain was there. So the need of Indian industries market was neglected. The common people need was neglected. The Indian business need was neglected. Further, railways rates were fixed in a manner so as to favor the British imports and the exports only. If the Indian made products were to be transported from one place to another, so there was the separate charges for it. Okay, so that was one of the uh, uh, that drawback for the Indian people. So they were not getting that benefit compared to the British products. So the British also established an efficient and modern postal system. So here till the railways part is completed. Here the railways part is completed. Now there we are going to see the postal development, how the postal development was was one revolutionary kind of things was there. So the British also established an efficient and modern postal system and introduced the telegraph. The first the first telegraph line was from Calcutta to Agra was opened in 1853. Lord Dalhousie cut down the postage rates and charged a uniform rate, almost half an anna for a letter all over the land. So it was like, even if you are sending a letter for a small place, like from one place to like nearest to the place only, the price was constant. Okay. Earlier, letter cost was dependent upon the distance. Even today, also it will depend upon your kind of distance only. Okay, even your courier charges and all depends on the and the kinds of distance, that kind of distance that it has to go to travel. But Lord Dalhousie implemented a uniform rate. Earlier, letter costs were dependent on the distance it was traveled. Sometimes that cost the people were like incurred was up to 4 days of skilled Indian labor salary. Okay, so this was all about. So two things development happened with the means of transport and the communication. One was your like related to telegraph or like postal system development, and another was your railway. Okay, so these two were the major aspects of the development under the British government related to the transport and communication. I hope you have liked this video. Please like and subscribe. This is a new channel. We really need your support further. If you have any doubts, please feel free to ping on my Twitter handle. Thank you.